Thank you very much to Dave, and thank you to all the school trustees for making the trip over here today. Dave Inman, who you can, I'm sure, find information for on the school district website, was sent his regrets. Or sorry, Rob Inman. My apologies. So again, thank you very much to the school trustees. If you need to get going, by all means, and please everyone contact them if you would.
Thanks, school trustees.
So for the next period, we're going to hear from our candidates for our municipal council and the mayoral office. I think I'd like to just start with the mayoral candidates and to give you an idea of the format going forward here. We're mainly working alphabetically, and when it comes to the question part, which is after their brief introductions that they're going to make now, I'll continue to ask them in the alphabetical format. However, the questions have been randomized. So not all candidates will answer all questions, and they won't, certainly, probability is they won't get their favorite question. And I think that will really mix things up and keep it fresh. You'll get to hear how widely versed they are on all the issues in our community. And I think that's valuable. So to begin with then, I think everyone would like to hear from the mayoral candidates. And Stacey Beamer, I'll give you 3 minutes to go ahead and let us know what you think about what you can do in our community.
Hi, thank you all for coming. My name's Stacey Beamer. I grew up in Langley. We were poor. We grew up on a farm. And at a very early age, my 4 sisters and I went to work. My grandfather was a road builder. My father was a road builder. And I grew up on construction sites basically as a child. I was running heavy equipment proficiently by 10, and at 14 I started working for one of the largest civil construction companies in the region. By the time I finished high school, I knew how to read engineered drawings proficiently and run survey instruments, and was hired as a grade man on large-scale infrastructure projects in the region. Rapidly, I became a foreman and then a superintendent. Spent most of my 20s overseeing civil operations for large projects throughout the region. Things like the container port at Roberts Bank, or West Coast Express train stations, first HOV lanes, and on and on and on. I moved to Bowen Island in 1999 with my young family. And when we first incorporated, I was the first public works manager, so I oversaw all the infrastructure on the island. I was involved in the design and construction of most of our beach accesses and the Trans-Island Path, things like the speed bumps in the Cove, and I worked with a team of other talented locals to get the turf field built. I oversaw the civil construction for the complete reconstruction of Hood Point's water mains, and much of the civil operations for the construction of the golf course and the first 5,000 meters of road at Cowan Point. What I bring to the table is a detailed understanding of our island's infrastructure and the land use, and its history. I'm also a big picture thinker, a systems thinker. I'm not a compartmentalized or linear thinker, and I look at the whole puzzle before I make choices. I think what we need to do on Bowen is bring the big picture back into the equation. And for many years we've been, having an idea and wallowing in the minutiae, not really able to understand our own place in our own environment. And I think that moving forward and making infrastructure and land use decisions in isolation is a dangerous game. And I liken infrastructure and land use to a chess game. It's complicated, it's interconnected, and diverse. And at the end of the day, if we continue to make infrastructure choices and land use choices in isolation, it's like playing a chess game where you can only see 10% of the board at a time. And occasionally you'll get lucky and make a good move, but most of the time you're going to be making mistakes. So what I bring to the picture is an expanded view of the island and its infrastructure and our possibilities as a community. I think that we have the potential as a community to be world leaders in community building. This is an amazing opportunity we have on this island. We haven't made a big mess of things yet, but we have a ways to go. We can be leaders and pioneers and be outside the box in the way that we solve our problems as a community. So I bring big picture thinking to the equation. I'm not implying that we don't honor the details. I'm implying that we created an environment that honors both. The big picture is just as important as the details.
10 seconds.
The advantage of coming from a big picture perspective is you get to choose the details that you dive into instead of just going blindly in 100 different directions simultaneously. So if you want to change a pace and get some work done, vote Beamer.
Thank you very much, Stacey. continuing alphabetically, Tim Rhodes, please.
I guess the question in front of us here is, where do we want to be in 4 years? Do we want a community where seniors have the comfort and security of knowing that the health care services are there for them on the island when they need it? Do we want a community where young families have the security of knowing that overnight we have more than just emergency services for their children? Do we want a community where our courageous firefighter volunteers have adequate, efficient facilities so that they can continue to protect us and keep us secure? And do we want to have a community where those who are approaching retirement have the ability to actually downsize and stay on Bowen Island, rather than having to leave Bowen Island and take that huge community and social equity they carry with them across the water, and take, quite frankly, their financial equity with them across the water? I think these are the things we want in a community, and things that we can certainly work towards, and many of which we can achieve over the next 4 years. Do we want a community where seniors and children have a place for recreational programming, where we can gather, where we can watch performances, where we can celebrate one another? All this is possible, as I said, but it takes a comprehensive plan, a comprehensive vision of what Bowen Island should be, a vision that builds on the interconnectedness of all of these things. Even something that appears to be standalone, like the rezoning of Lot 2. Should that not proceed ahead, everything with it gets unbundled, which is Snug Cove House, which is diversity of housing, which is a community center. We need to keep the momentum moving forward. To provide these healthcare facilities, we need to attract the healthcare professionals to the island. These healthcare professionals need housing, diversity of housing if they're going to move here and live here. They need community facilities so that they can have the quality of life they're looking for to move here, because it's incredibly competitive to try and attract these healthcare professions to Bowen Island. And I'm really kind of stressing that if we attack one issue, like healthcare and seniors, we actually resolve a lot of other issues, like the economy, because those healthcare practitioners come to our island and build our economy, create more jobs, create more employment. In closing, I want to say that as the mayor, I promise to create a mayor's committee on the environment so that we can get the environmentally sensitive areas bylaw and the hazardous slopes bylaw finally in place. This council wasn't able to do it. I think I have the experience, the knowledge, and the intimate knowledge of the municipality and how it works to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And Murray Skeels.
Thank you. Okay, they told me how to do this. I can do this. Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Murray Skeels, and I'd be honored to be your next mayor. When Janice and I moved here in 1978 with our young family, it was like coming home. And we have thrived here for 36 years. I've been a commuter, and I've run a small business up at Artisan Square. I've been involved with a lot of community groups. I chaired the Recreation Commission. I chaired the Bowfest Committee. More recently, I chaired Cove Bay Water. But you may know me more for the columns that I've written in the Bulletin. For the last decade, I've written on community issues and the island issues because I really believe in informed debate and in discussion. That's what I believe in. Anyway, the main issue I think for us this time around is getting community input as part of council's decision-making process. We would have meetings in the afternoons as well as the evenings so that more people could attend. We would invite the public and encourage differing points of view. I would be available personally or by email because I actually do want to hear people's concerns and ideas. Now, in community projects, my idea is to start very quickly on a whole bunch of them. You know, the trick, I believe, is starting with small steps. We've been dancing for a long time. It's time to take those first committed steps. Will we make mistakes? Sure. But we will learn from our mistakes. We will admit our mistakes. We will gain consensus as we move forward. And then some projects will die, but some of them will come to life. They will come to fruition, and they'll be our creation. You know, and I'm talking about the community hall, Snug Cove House, affordable housing, a new fire hall, and a community health care clinic. Yeah. Also, I want to be a champion for the environment, for expanded parks and playgrounds, trails connecting our neighborhoods, protection of our beaches. Environmental protection has to be a core, fundamental thing that we remember all the time. You know? So now when we come to you and talk about new projects, I want you to be assured that the steps may be small, but there will be a plan, a serious, complete plan. And I'm a small businessman. I don't waste money. I make a commitment that taxes will not go up any more than the rate of inflation. I want to build our community while protecting our environment and jealously protecting our sense of place.
10 seconds.
I would be honored to be your new mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Murray, and thank you to all the mayoral candidates. We don't have quite as much time for the council candidates, being that we have 11 of you, and we want to hear from each one of you. So without further ado, I'm going to give 2 minutes to each of you, starting with Gary, and we'll just come down the table. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Rod. And first and foremost, thank everybody for being here, because this is what part of the definition of Bowen is, the people of Bowen, and that's what we have to protect in this next mandate, if I was lucky enough to be voted into council. My name is Gary Ander. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a very long time Bowen resident. I've lived here on and off since 1970, full-time since 1994. I've been very involved in the community, whether it was the original OCP, which goes a long way back. Different commissions and committees I'm on at the present time. I'm on the APC. I've been president of the South Bowen Community Association for many years. I'm on the Community Grants Committee with the municipality, and I've been involved with volunteer hours, many volunteer hours in the community. I think I have a deep knowledge of the feeling and the passion on Bowen Island, which is what it's all about. That's what we don't want to change. We want to create an environment where that is able to be sustained. I look at council's job in sort of a two-phase operation. One of them, of course, is the business of council, and that's the CEO and the board of directors, and we look after the budgets, and we try to spend some money and look after different committees on the island, that sort of thing. We look after the infrastructure, all the nuts and bolts stuff on the island. The other part, and the most important part, is we look after what defines Bowen Island. Every decision that is made in council, we cannot be divisive. We have to be as one, and I can certainly work towards that. I've had a lot of success in the past. But every decision that's made in council, we should keep our eye on the prize. And the prize is defined in the OCP. That's what defines this island and where we want to go.
Just 10 seconds.
It's very simple. Anyway, there's a lot of platform information. Of course, we have to look after our elderly. We have to look after our bludgeoning youth on the island. And we just got to make people able to work and stay on the island, and we have to make it productive. And these are all parts of the parcel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Michael Chapman.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out this afternoon. Bowen needs a council that exemplifies leadership by being pragmatic, innovative, and accessible. As Islanders, we all have a strong identity, and it's a common identity. We all want Bowen handled with care. Yet we seem to be constantly stuck between partisan sides. And there's no room for partisan politics at the municipal level. It pays us no dividends. We don't, it hurts us, it divides us, it's like poison. We still don't have a community hall, we still don't have affordable housing, and we still don't have senior support. We're losing good candidates because of partisanship before we even have a chance to vote for them. Our official community plan. This is what's supposed to be the tool used to balance the subtleties and complexities between development and protection, not partisanship. Leadership will bring that balance back so we can express ourselves, we can engage as a community, and we can treat each other with respect, all of us. We need to be pragmatic. We need to look at all the options around the surplus lands. We need to look at adjusting our boundaries and redefining our relationship with Metro Vancouver. The baseball diamond, the Beaufest field, the Davies Orchard cabins, these are the places that define us. They're our heritage. They're the heart of our community. We need to have that conversation. And we need to be innovative. We send about $3 million a year off island for slow internet connectivity. Let's build our own broadband network here on the island. Keep that money here. 130 towns are doing that already in North America.
Just
we
10
can do
seconds.
that too. We need an accessible council. We need a council that moves forward in a clear and open manner. A council that leads and directs our municipal staff with respect and support, so in turn they can serve the community and council with respect and support. And we need our community hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Sue Ellen Fast.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sue Ellen Fast, and I'm running for council and the Islands Trust. What I'm aiming for as your representative would be to preserve and protect our quality of life on Bowen Island. I've been 15 years a community volunteer working for parks and trails and protected public beaches and greenways, and I've done education projects and programs with the various schools and with visitors. I've been a former chair of the former Greenways Advisory Committee, chair of the recent Official Community Plan Update Steering Committee, chair of the Bowen Island Conservancy for 9 years before that. I've been a commuter and a parent, and now I'm a consultant working from home on matters to do with environmental education and heritage interpretation. For example, right now we're finishing up a project for an education plan for the green belt that runs through Ottawa. And I'm also the executive director of Interpretation Canada. My priorities over the next 4 years would be to get back to work on parks, trails, and protected beaches. I think this is important not just for our quality of life and for the ecosystems that sustain us and provide us with clean air and water, but for our economy. This is what visitors come to Bowen for, and in every presentation and set of info I've seen, including on Monday from the Economic Development Committee, that was reinforced. Visitors come here for green oasis, retreat, and island of walks. I'd like to manage growth well. See above, like I don't want to lose the good qualities that we have, but also I've got experience working with developers and a track record in getting parks set aside. For example, Quarry Park.
Just 10 seconds.
Okay, we've had 100 years welcoming visitors to our Happy Isle. I think this is another 100-year moment. I'd be honored to represent you on council and the Islands Trust. More at suellenfast.ca.
Thank you, Sue Ellen. Next, we have Marcus Freeman.
Thank you, Rod. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Freeman, and I'm running for council. I'm running independently, not because of the left or right here today, but because I want to work with council's shared values to represent open anonymity of Bowen Island residents. Yes, open anonymity. I refer to it as the freedom to be heard without having to be known. So consider Margaret Reed, a famous anthropologist. She said, quote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has, end quote. I care because I want council to focus on the large demographic of senior fixed income residents, the less advantaged, and just as important, your children and youth who end their life on Bowen to find advanced education and employment elsewhere. Young families can envision a more inclusive and accessible island that helps make ends meet. We need to be accountable by taking ownership of risks and opportunities we will face over the next 4 years. We will focus on endeavors of finite scope, time, and budget. But also I see this as a full-time commitment to engage and represent you. So in conclusion, I'd like to paraphrase David Rynch, who nominated me. Please consider me if you have a spare vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. And next in the line is Yvette Gabriel.
My name is Yvette Gabrielle, and I'm here to ask for your vote as councillor and for Islands Trust trustee. I've worked with many types of organization at one time. I worked with Citibank in personal finances, and their motto, progress informed by the past and inspired by the future, still fits me well. I've worked in human resources with both the Adecco Group, a world leader, and BC Women and Children's Hospital, who have 3 separate unions and many competing interests. There, creating a culture of teamwork and professional was essential. I've worked with local nonprofit organizations in Vancouver, the Mount Pleasant Community Centre and KidSafe, and here we succeeded by using creative solutions with tight budgets and still delivered quality programming. My husband Ken commutes daily, and I appreciate firsthand the challenges that brings to family life. We live in Deep Bay with our 3 young children. They attend classes with IDLC, and we enjoy many programs on the island. I volunteer at the Knick Knack Nook and the Community School Association here at Bix, and before moving to Bowen, I was on executive boards and committees where we had the common challenges of decreased funding and increasing costs. And together, we met the goals of fundraising and community awareness. The project that I'm most proud of was organized by Malaysia's Institute for Social Change and Canada's International Development Agency. The goal was to create a trusting relationship and partnership with rural teachers and government. This relationship transitioned from one of distrust and fear, sounds familiar, and one to empowerment and contribution. The results are still in place today, and we can do this on Bowen too. I want a seat on council for 2 reasons. First, I want to represent the younger demographic and communities and families and women.
Just a few seconds.
All right. With your vote, 1 vote for me as councillor, and as Islands Trust trustee, I promise to listen, to hear, and to be available for you for the next 4 years. Progress informed by the past and inspired by the future.
Thank you very much, Yvette. And next we have Michael Kale.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much. Standing for council, I have to say, it gets mixed reactions. Yes, I'm actually the hotel guy who has worked in places that some people still struggling to pronounce. That's me. And we arrived here in 2006, and I was working full-time. I was able, however, to assist on the Economic Development Committee and the Branding Committee. I'm very proud to say that intimately involved with the First Credit Union, which is an operation I'm incredibly proud of, and I think it's been a huge contributor to the island. So why run for council? Not very long ago, the Bowen Foundation held a meeting, and it was called Vital Conversations. And notwithstanding it was an invited audience, I think some very clear messages came out of that. Firstly, was polite public discourse. This community wanted to say farewell to some of the rancorous, argumentative, and very contentious and spiteful type of dialogue that was known in the past. They wanted to make it very clear that the issues were facing seniors, the issues are facing our young families. Bridging both are the issues of wellness and medical care. Add to that issues we've got to face with transportation, our infrastructure. It's a myriad of complex and complicated issues. Frankly, the sort of issues I've been used to dealing with the whole of my working life.
Just a few seconds there.
I really hope I am able to serve you. I very much want to. I want to get things done, small, incremental pieces, but please, starting now. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And Melanie Mason.
Hi, my name is Melanie Mason, and I'm running for council. I have a degree in geography from Queen's University, and for over 10 years, I've specialized in geographic information systems. I've worked on a diverse range of mapping projects in the past, including coral reef mapping in the Caribbean, and working for the United Nations Environment Program. My most recent experience was as an associate director for a town planning consultancy. I was the project manager for the mapping component of residential, transportation, waste management, and renewable energy projects. Here on Bowen, I was a founding member of Bowen Island for Ferry Fairness, and I'm a committee member on the Bowen Island Municipal Transportation Advisory Committee. Through meetings and correspondence with BC Ferries executives and senior staff, I've addressed issues such as affordable fares, schedule cuts, integration of services, and alternative transportation initiatives. What I hope to bring to the council table is firstly, a strong voice for families of all generations and composition, ensuring all of our cultural, recreational, and health needs are heard. I want to bring the ideas of a connected community to the table through integrated and affordable transportation and connectivity of our island paths. Community connections are dependent also on our civic spaces and services. We also need to look collectively at communal services such as a new fire hall, a water treatment plant, and the diverse housing needs of our island population. I would work to ensure municipal planning nurtures our vibrant community hub and local economy. I also want to bring respectful and positive dialogue back to the table. This includes active listening and a welcoming and inclusive tone at council meetings. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. And next is Allison Morris.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here on such a wonderful, beautiful day outside. I'm Allison Morris, and I'm standing for re-election for council and for the Islands Trust. I'm a chartered accountant and have always believed in giving back to my profession and my community. It's really hard to boil down everything I've done on the council in the last years and my volunteer life. Over in the corner, you'll find Alan, and he can fill you in on some of that. It's kept me out of his hair so we can watch football games. We moved over to Bowen, built our house here in 1995, but we didn't move very far. We came from West Van, and there's some of you in this room that I went to high school with. We came along with our two sons. I commuted to work, and one of them commuted to high school. This is a fabulous place to live. It's near a city that is ranked one of the best in the world, yet it's on an island, so it gives us peace and tranquility, and the ferry ride with some of the best views. In 1996, Bowen Island Parks and Rec Commission advertised for new members, and that started my volunteer career here on Bowen. And it was fabulous. We got to tromp around through the bush with Maggie Cumming, Sue Ellen, and we were looking at parks and trails and commenting on where they should be. I've been a member of council since we started, and on the Islands Trust Council since 2002. And I want Bowen to continue to be the great place that we live in and for everybody. Being a chartered accountant, I think we first and foremost need to look after what we have, and that's the built infrastructure, the natural green space around us, and the people who live here. We need to be fiscally responsible and balance the demand for services with taxpayers' ability to pay, and put money aside to maintain our assets in a good state. To have a good quality of life and the diverse, caring, involved community we have, I would like council and the municipality, through its actions and policies, to facilitate a vibrant economy, a diversity of housing, things like Snug Cove House, affordable housing, but also the type of housing you need at the time of life that you're in.
Just a few seconds.
Transportation, fire hall, community center, gathering place. Whoops, lost my pages. In the Allens Trust, I would represent Bowen interests. The knowledge I've gained in my years on council, my business and community, I believe I bring a balanced, respectful, experienced voice to council and the Allens Trust. It's been a privilege to serve as your councillor and Allens trustee in the past, and I look forward to your vote and being your councillor and Allens trustee for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allison. And next is Maureen Nichols. Oh, it doesn't seem to be on.
I'm on? I'm on.
Good.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to provide 5 reasons for voting for me for council and for Islands Trust. The details of my background are on my website and on my Facebook page, so you can take a look there if you'd like more information. I read recently that people sometimes don't vote for the details of a platform, but they vote for a person. So my reasons are focusing on a person. And they are, I read well, I make connections, I have council and committee experience, I like numbers, and I'm a comparatively quiet person. Oh, gosh. To say a little bit more, one of the main jobs of a councillor is to read a lot of material, and some of it's very dry and technical, and to be able to respond fairly, quickly, and constructively. I'm a communication professor and a professional editor, and I've learned not to be overloaded by information and not to leap to judgment, but also to keep an eye on deadlines. I'm comfortable saying I don't know and working to find things out. I make connections between ideas, people, and projects that others might overlook. I have an excellent memory. I'm good at establishing working relationships based on trust, maintaining them over time. I've worked in educational institutions for most of my life, and educational institutions run on councils and committees. I've served on many nonprofit boards and editorial boards over the years, and I've played various roles as needed. I long ago lost any ego around this kind of collaborative work. I like numbers. I also like policy, and I'm good at drafting it. I'm not intimidated by this kind of material. I usually have both a sense of the big picture and a good eye for details.
Just a few seconds, please.
And I've worked with budgets for over 50 years. And finally, in a small group, I tend to sit back and listen until there's something worth saying. So for those reasons and more, please vote for me as an independent on November 15th.
Thank you, Maureen. And Peter Williamson.
Thank you, Rod. I'm the new Canadian candidate. Just 3 weeks ago, my partner Tamsin and I became Canadian citizens. So now I'm allowed to vote, and I can stand for election, and I'm not wasting any time. We moved to Bowen 11 years ago. We came straight from Australia to Bowen. I have a background in environmental science and a PhD in economic geography, looking at economic development on an island. I've been a volunteer on the OCP Update Committee, the Board of Variance, the Advisory Planning Commission, and I have a deep respect for the volunteers and the expertise that they bring to Council's committees. I will ensure greater diversity on these committees. This will make them richer in ideas and help them produce better results. I've worked with human rights groups and with environmental groups. With Stop the Docks, I work to protect Bowen's beaches and shoreline. The Docks bylaw, which was passed by this council, it protects and it regulates the size of docks. That's great. But now we need to finish the job to protect the beaches, and I will do that. The community centre. I want a Bowen-scale solution, a multi-use space that is practical and affordable. And I mean Bowen scale, not Bowen time. I support many developments. On the west side, I welcome the proposed subdivision at Arbutus Ridge. I support increased vitality in Snug Cove, such as the redevelopment of the pub and the 12 new dwellings that it brings. And I will work for a network of trails across the island. I'm also running for the Islands Trust. From them, I want value for money. I want their mapping skills. I want their expertise, and I want them to stand with us in our dealings with BC Ferries. With them and our neighboring municipalities, I will oppose large-scale industrial projects in Howe Sound. They give nothing to Bowen, but they threaten our waters, our tourist economy, and what is dear to us.
Okay, please wrap it up.
I'm ready to work for you. Thank you very much, and ask for your vote on Election Day.
Thank you very much, Peter. And last up on our list of candidates for council, George Zawodzki.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing today? I'm George Zawodzki, and you're watching Bowen TV. I look out on this crowd today, and it reminds me of about this time of year, 9 years ago. We had a wrestling ring set up right here, and there was a battle going on between me and a character named Voltage in a movie we did here on the island called Jacob Tutu. And I think about that, and it was a wonderful time of year, and I'm very proud of what happened because we brought a community together and shot 67 pages of script in 21 days. We were told we couldn't do it, but we did it. We used 50 kids, hundreds of islanders, and it was a really cool time. Fast forward to this spot again in 2008 and 2011 all candidates meeting. I looked out, and again, I saw a ring set up. I saw a community divided for 6 years. But I wasn't proud of seeing that then. Fast forward to today, here we are again. I see a community that wants to be united, that wants to work together to achieve community needs that have been promised to us for a lot of years. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm running again for the third time. Hopefully it's a charm.
30 seconds.
Thank you. I'm coming into it this year with a lot of passion. I want to bring to you guys the things that have been promised to you for years and years and years and have been overlooked. I'd like to see a community hall built. I'd like to be here in 4 years. Well, not here. I'd like to be 200 yards to the west having this meeting in a new community hall. I'd like to see our island be connected with a transportation system that benefits us socially and economically, helps tourism, helps the businesses, makes our quality of life a little easier. If you want to work with me in helping to achieve these things for the next 4 years, cast your vote for me on November 15th. My name is George Zawodzki. Thank you.